Hey guys, Dan the Mustang Doctor, and I'm just here tonight to debunk one of the most common myths online on the Coyote platform, which is really the Ghost Cam tune. A lot of guys think it's a joke, they think it's a gimmick, and I'm just here to show you guys tonight why that's not, and talk a little bit more about the Ghost Cam tune, which is really the idle side of it, and then the optimal cam angles, which is really the performance side of it. Because a lot of people don't realize that Ford Logic has set up VVT or variable valve timing, which is designed to really command certain cam angles when you'd like them. So the Ghost Cam tune is essentially just setting up an overlap at idle in those cam angles. And then Ford also has in the Logic optimal performance cam angles, which you can dial in really for optimal performance, essentially. So that's wide open throttle, your optimal performance, and that's essentially what you're gonna get when you put real cams in a car. So a lot of you LS guys, if you're watching this, a lot of other guys that maybe just don't get into the tuning side or just don't know, really when you put cams in a car, you're getting an overlap essentially, and that's what's giving the chop at idle, which is the same thing as the Ghost Cam tune. You're setting up an overlap in the cam degrees and intake and exhaust cams, and that's how you're getting the lope at idle, same as real cams. So what else do real cams do? Well, they give you optimal performance on the top end because they keep the valves open longer. You can cram more air into the cylinder with cams. Well, that's essentially exactly what the Ford VVT platform does. We can go into the optimal cam angle, and I'm going to show you guys that in a minute, and really dial up those cam angles to cram more air into the cylinders and therefore make more power at each RPM interval. So I'm gonna switch over to the tune and show you guys what that looks like and why that is. And then I'll show you guys a Gen 2 2015 6-speed Coyote just totally tearing up the streets on an optimal performance cam angle adjustment. All right guys, so we're just in SET on this one, and just looking at the optimal cam angles. We've got optimal power for exhaust and optimal power for intake. And these are essentially just setting the intake and exhaust cam angles per RPM for the most power. And essentially how you do that is we've got a lot of proven data that I've tuned on, and we've had some cars in the dyno, and we've got a lot of proven data stored. But if you're really wanting to dial your car in and get the exact most appropriate optimal cam angles, which we did on this Gen 2 Turbo Coyote, you got to get it on the dyno, and you got to make a million passes, because essentially you're making a run at all kinds of different cam angle settings, and you're setting these, you're making a pass, you're setting intake and exhaust, make it another pass, and then we're overlaying all of those dyno runs, all of those dyno passes, and we're taking the highest horsepower and torque per RPM, and once we've got that overlaid, we're going back into the tune to see where we had the intake and exhaust cam angles to make the most power at each RPM interval. Then we're setting those in the tune, and that's how you're getting the most power. So again, just going back to the common myth that the Ghost Cam tune is a joke. Why not get real cams? You're wasting your time. Well, the problem is the Coyote platform essentially uses a optimal stability logic, where in this VVT, or this variable valve timing, it's going to go in, and even if you put aftermarket cams in a Coyote, it's not going to chop at idle, because it's always going to be looking for optimal stability. So it's always going to find a smooth idle unless you set a Ghost Cam tune on it, so it chops. So what I like to do is set up a Ghost Cam tune so you get chop at idle, and then as soon as you drive the car over 1,000 RPMs, you're coming out of the Ghost Cam and you're getting into just regular optimal stability, and your car will run like normal. But then when you get into wide open throttle, you're getting into the optimal performance cam angles that I was just talking about as well. So you're getting the idle chop, the really nostalgic idle chop, and then you're getting the most performance you can out of your cams, which would be the exact same thing as putting in aftermarket cams. It's just due to the Ford VVT logic that uses cam phasers. So there you have it, guys. It's not a gimmick. It's not a joke. It's actually dialing up the sound and dialing up the performance. So if you guys have any thoughts or questions, just throw them in the comments. We'd love to talk more about it.
Look at the car shaking.